Hello, Pyro Puzzle fans. It's Silent Signs from I Dream of Indie, and today we are taking a look at puzzle game Bonfire Peaks. There's really no setup for this one story-wise. You kind of just open up on this island and are instructed to burn your belongings. Simple enough. The mechanics are also incredibly simple. You can pick up and drop crates. You can move around on sort of a grid base where you can turn in any direction and move, and you will need to walk backwards on some occasions in order to get your crates to cooperate with the environment. You can undo a move, and you can also reset the puzzle as needed. Between puzzles, there is sort of an overworld, which is also a puzzle in and of itself, believe it or not. You will need to navigate this overworld by stacking crates and climbing cliffs in order to navigate from one puzzle to the next. I think that one of the things that Bonfire Peaks does best is it doesn't force you to solve one puzzle to move on to the next one. You often have a group of several puzzles to choose from. So if one's not clicking with you, it's tickling your brain a little bit too much, you can move on to the next one, which might actually teach you a new mechanic that you'll need to solve the one that you couldn't. And that does take a little bit of the frustration out of this whole process. Another interesting thing about this game is you don't really gain any new abilities. What you start out the game with is essentially what you end with. But the thing that does change is you learn about some of the mechanics through the puzzles themselves. So perhaps in the beginning, you're stuck on something because you can't maneuver your box around a pole. Well, you find out that you can drop the box, climb over it, pick it up again from the other side, and get it around the pole that way. So it actually teaches you how to play through the puzzles themselves. There are over 200 puzzles in Bonfire Peaks, and I will tell you, there is a fair amount of challenge here, especially if you're not necessarily a seasoned puzzle game player, which I will fully admit I am not by any means. It definitely requires some trial and error, which makes that undo feature really helpful as well. And if you're really, really stuck, you do always have the option to just move on to the next puzzle, and you'll still be able to progress the game without solving that one that just doesn't compute. And of course, the most striking thing about Bonfire Peaks has to be the graphics. It's done in this voxel art style. It doesn't feel like a children's game, but it does have that feeling of almost like Legos or miniatures. It feels very realistically unrealistic, if that makes sense. It looks so clear and crisp, especially playing on my pretty decently powered computer. It also just has this great nostalgic feeling to it. I don't know if it's just because you're burning your possessions in the past along with it, but something about it makes me yearn for childhood in a weird way. As far as soundtrack goes, Bonfire Peaks keeps it pretty zen and low-key. You get a lot of different ambient, almost incomprehensible instrument sounds. They're definitely a little bit more electronic in nature, a little bit synthetic. There's a melody there, but it's very slow building, and it really doesn't interfere with anything in the game. You also get these great sound effects like the crackling of the fire, which I just so love. It reminds me of having one of those fake fireplaces on your TV. Some of us just probably shouldn't be trusted with real fire, okay? Regardless, it sounds great, it looks great. Presentation-wise, I don't think you can do much better for a puzzle game in a relaxing environment than Bonfire Peaks has done here. I think this would be a great game to kind of pick up and put down at your leisure, maybe not rush through all of the puzzles at once, as it could lead to a little bit of burnout. No pun intended. I'm lying, pun fully intended. It has a fair amount of challenge, but the puzzles are satisfying to solve, and you do always have that fallback of skipping a level if you need to. Overall, I would say this is a great addition to your collection if you are a fan of puzzle games. Do you have a burning desire to take on Bonfire Peaks? Let me know in the comments down below. Before I go, I just want to thank our indie warriors, Mitchell Hall, Bunny, Kevilo, Bill Tikaz, Christian Cruz, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, PSC, C-Coil, Skeptism, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Julian Colbus, and JRS8. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, don't forget you can subscribe down below so you don't miss any of our reviews or previews, and check out the description box as well if you'd like to see how to become an indie warrior yourself. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.